Hello everyone, this is Greg, your Cheese League Commissioner. Welcome back. Here's another look at one of our Winter League Challenge teams. Today we have the Brie Boomerangs. Of course, Brie is the sponsor of choice here. Thank you so much to the Big Cheese for choosing to sponsor all of our teams in the Winter League Challenge. The Brie Boomerangs, this is how their logo looks, and we're going to take a look at their uniform, logo, take a look at their default lineup, and also a little deep dive on their roster. Of course, their home ballpark is the Swagger Center, because why not? And let's take a look at their logo. So, the boomerang, as an idea that I had once I once I thought of different types of cheeses that started with the letter B. So, boomerang just came to mind, and I made the boomerang, and I thought that looks pretty cool. And I'll be honest, I would love to own one of the Brie Boomerangs hats. I think it looks pretty dope. So this is the away jersey, and I think it kind of reminds me of the Tampa Bay Rays for some reason. Really enjoy it. Of course, Brie is prominently displayed there on the jerseys. We have their home jersey, the B, of course, for Brie or for Boomerang. Either one. I think it's a sharp-looking jersey, sharp-looking uniform. And, yeah, I really like this team. Of course, this team is playing at the Swagger Center, which may or may not be a hitter's ballpark. Either way, it probably will be for the Brie Boomerangs because they are a power-hitting team. Wait till we dig into the roster and show you some of the stats. We'll go through it quickly here, but it's absolutely bananas. Of course, we're going to be looking at their DH lineup. Every team plays in the DH formation for the Winter League Challenge. And their DH lineup looks like this. Right off the bat, we have Case and Oldie, an A-rated player. Their second baseman. High on power, high on contact, a little bit lower, maybe mid-range on speed. Very good on fielding, mid-range on the arm as well. High on power, high on contact are two things that you're going to hear me say probably a lot as we go through this lineup because it is absolutely filthy. Like, right off the bat, your leadoff hitter has ridiculous power numbers and ridiculous contact numbers. So that's a pretty darn good start there for the Boomerangs. Taking a look at the DH, we have Repo Sawhorse. Again, the power and contact numbers are just off the charts. Sawhorse is typically a third baseman, also played first base. So that is a little platoon there, probably with Marsh and with Dakota then too, which we'll get to them. But a little bit, mid-range on the speed, a little bit higher on fielding and mid-range on the arm, maybe less than mid-range on the arm. But Repo Sawhorse, definitely another power hitter right up front here for the Brie Boomerangs. Then we get down to Jonah Conrad. Look at this. Power and contact, very high again. Speed, not so much. Fielding, not so much, which is interesting for your everyday left fielder. Very good arm, though. So maybe we'll see some plays at the plate from Jonah Conrad, throwing some people out. But again, power and contact for B+ rated Jonah Conrad. He's up there. What about Freddie Mickelson? Well, look at that. Power is off the charts for Freddie Mickelson. He is your starting shortstop. Just ridiculously off the charts here for Mickelson. A-rated player, contact well above average, speed exceptional. We have fielding exceptional, arm exceptional, tough out, stealer both activated. So Mickelson is your absolute star in this team. Your cleanup hitter. Just look at that power number. That is ridiculous. Wait till we get into the roster and really dig into the numbers. It's just bananas. Dirk Davila, of course, power and contact are again very high for this team. So starting to notice a pattern. Speed not so much. Definitely, from your catcher, not a big runner. Pretty low on the fielding level for your starting catcher. And definitely not as good as our Asiago Aeroplanes catchers. We saw their arm numbers up quite a bit. Davila might be a little bit more above average, I would say. Now, Burn Marsh, power number up, contact number way high for your starting first baseman. Speed, way high. Stealer, an active trait here for Burn Marsh. Your A- rated first base. Now, first base is not his everyday position. As you can see, he's an everyday center fielder, so we'll kind of switch back and forth with Buck or, even with Espinoza or Conrad. But nonetheless, fielding above average, I would say, for Burn Marsh. So that is something to keep an eye on. A- rated. Okay, let's just acknowledge the fact, first off, that we're A- rated player buried in your number 6 spot. So that's just bananas. Bailey Dakota, again, power and contact numbers high. Arm number, super high. So very, very good fielding third baseman here. B+ rated Dakota for your Brie Boomerangs. You got Buck, B+ rated center fielder here for the Boomerangs. I think this might be the lowest power number that we've seen so far, but contact is still high. Speed is very high. Fielding is exceptional, so that's why he's your starting center fielder. Arm, not so much, but but that's okay for your B+ rated Ben Buck for the Boomerangs, who's your number 8 hitter. And then you have Espinoza, your number 9 hitter is B- rated, and still look at his contact numbers and look at his speed. So that is pretty darn. That is, and fielding is very high, or arm is very high from your right fielder here. So this is just absolutely ridiculous. The starting lineup is so good. And let's dig into the numbers here a little bit. It's filthy. It's absolutely filthy. The Brie Boomerangs are definitely a traditional power hitting club. You'll see why once we start digging into the into the rotation, into the bullpen a little bit. But the Boomerangs are ridiculous. I mean, look at Oldie. You have Oldie and Mickelson right up top. Mickelson's power number is 93. That is just bananas. That is so ridiculous. Also, he's a power hitting base stealer. Like, what is that? What is that? What is happening here for the Brie Boomerangs? Oldie, contact number 93, power 80. Just ridiculous. Plus, you have 2 A- players in March and Sawhorse here, so that's ridiculous in and of itself. Taking a look here, Dirk Davila, another just power hitter, 84. But look at just the power hitters are just all up and down that starting 9. Once you get into the the bench with some of the bench players, Pacheco and Richardson and Tucker, and once you get in the bench, it's not so much. But you still have some pretty decent contact hitters, some pretty decent base stealers here too. So surprisingly, what you have in power and contact hitting, you're gonna have to sacrifice somewhere. And some of these players don't have the best fielding or arms, especially if we look down on the bench. So their starting 9 is really, really good and is really, really over the top good, like comically good for the Boomerangs. But once you get onto the bench, maybe not so much. So something to keep an eye on. If we get an injury during one of the Winter League challenge games, something like that takes somebody out for a couple games. We'll have to see how that happens. So, like I said, very, very good contact hitting team, very, very good power hitting team. Rotation, mid-range. Bullpen, less than mid-range. So let's take a look. Mayor Goldie Wilson, your your starter right up front, your A- starter. So another screwballer too, which is pretty interesting. 4-seamer, curveball, slider, screwball, and changeup. So exceptional in the junk meter. Compose and K-Man activated. So Compose is a great trait to have activated here because you have so much junk that you're just throwing out there, especially that screwball. Just so much junk there. So, sacrifice the velocity and the accuracy for junk and for K-Man any day of the week. B+ rated Chance Raymond here, your second out of the rotation. Take away that screwball, and it's pretty much the same arsenal here. Definitely higher on junk meter, better on accuracy. Composed also activated. You have Sakaw here. just a lot. There's just a lot going on here for Sakaw. B minus. You got a four-seamer, you got a curveball, you got a slider, you got a changeup, you got a forkball. I mean, there's just so much happening there. One thing I would be worried about for Sakaw is the, junk and accuracy are quite low, and you're throwing a lot of junk out there. So, from this lefty hurler, may see a lot of walks. We'll have to see how that plays out. But I would be concerned with throwing that much junk out there. Just a lot of walks. That's my thought. And especially if you're throwing junk too, maybe a lot of walks, maybe a lot of long balls because you're not throwing very hard. C plus rather, Zavala, I'm sorry, is just a run in the mill pitcher here for your fourth out of your rotation for the Boomerangs. So four-seamer, cutter, curveball, slider. Look at the power numbers. Zavala. Ridiculous. The power numbers are ridiculous, even out of the pitching spots. So this team is just all over the place, let me tell you. This is where you really, really have to count on the long ball if you're a Boomerangs fan. If you're rooting for the Brie bunch, definitely want the long ball to put you over the top, so maybe your top three starters can keep you in the game, and so you don't get into the bullpen too much because you got Browline and Browline B rated, Alvardo B minus rated, you got Lugo as your C rated, and Concentrado as your B minus closer. So, Concentrado, let's shout it out there. Junk is high, but I mean, and Specialist is activated, so that's pretty good, especially when we see a lot of righties in the game. So, but I don't know. I would just be worried about their bullpen a little bit. So that is something to take into consideration if you're thinking about becoming a Brie Boomerangs fan. If you're a fan of pitching, bullpen might not be the best, but you're going to see a ton of hitting. You're just going to see a ton of hitting, possibly some blowout games with this team, especially if they face off against, a team that isn't that good in the pitching department. This team's going to make you pay if you make a mistake. So that is something to think about if you're looking to root for the Brie Boomerangs. Take a look at their cards here. You can see some of the players there. I know I'm blocking Concentrado down here a little bit, but you can see some players. Of course, they got the yellow helmets, which I think look pretty sporty with their home jerseys. So that is the Brie Boomerangs. That's how they line up. Go back to the visuals section here. So might want to be a Brie Boomerangs fan, join the Brie bunch, but it's up to you. We got more teams coming. Actually, let's see, 6 more teams. We have 8 teams here in the Winter League Challenge, so lots more teams to come, lots more looks to come. So you still have time to make up your mind. But in the meantime, feel free to like this video. Also, feel free to go back and check out the Cheese League Baseball whole entire seasons up here on YouTube. So that's something to check out as well. Follow us on Twitter at geek_cheese. That's where we're going to have announcements about the Winter League Challenge and more announcements about these videos as well going up on YouTube. And be sure to check out our other channel over there at Twitch at twitch.tv/geekcheese. All right, folks, I will see you soon. Take care. Bye.